Okay, I guess. Thanks, Daniel, for organizing. My name is Oliver. I work with the Graymatter client, and yeah, I think it's very nice that we have a meetup. I would much more like to talk about our code and implementations, since I'm very interested in that. But yeah, we're only going to share some tips and tricks around testing CI and so on, since code is Java, obviously. So let's go. So the team is like Kian. You right here. You probably know him. He's working at Parity, like we're all working at Parity as our main job. We are also all in the runtime function. Yeah, we have Francisco, he's working at MCM mostly, and me, Oliver. Yeah, and like we are treating this as part-time, but we have like, obviously we talk with our CTO first. But yeah, so it's like a bit difficult to manage this, you know, next to our job. So it's like mostly weekend and sometimes on the sides. But yeah, it keeps it challenging. So our main goal here is to reach milestone 1. I think that's also the most realistic for us, honestly, given our constrained resources. Then after M1, we can maybe pivot. We can see if we merge with other teams or what we do. Like if we go for M2, or yeah, we would just take a break at that moment and see how to proceed. Yeah. So our local setup, we're using Elixir as our language. There's one other team also using Elixir from Denmark. Yeah, it's a like untyped language. There exists some linters and some tooling to make it more typed. So you can just write with typing start by writing untyped code, and then later on you can add some type annotations, and then you can have some slight type checking. So it's like makes it very easy to hack something first, and then get some more quality control later. Yeah, otherwise we use mixed flags for local reproduction of dependencies, so that we have all of the same compiler versions and same dependencies installed. This is also very useful for CI, so it just reproduces the exact same dependencies. We have some justfile. I mean, that's basically the newer version of make, since make is very painful to use. So you just write just CI or just check or whatever, and then you run all the checks locally that you have remote, and that makes it very easy to debug stuff. Yeah, we use Rust bindings for the stuff that you can't do in Elixir. Currently, that's just erasure coding, the ring signatures, yeah, and some hashing stuff. Yeah. So later on, maybe we will switch to Zig, or maybe. Yeah, just see if we can, maybe need to also use something else. But for now, with these 3 things, we can just, Rust integrates rather nicely with Elixir. That's good. Yeah, so for our CI, we run the normal tests, and then for each of the, in the test vectors repository, there's quite some open merge requests and for each of those, we also run on them, so that we check the latest state. So we check out the merge request from www.dispute stuff, and we run this. Then we check out the other merge request, run that, and check out this merge request, and also run on this one. Otherwise, we kind of have to wait until stuff is merged, and then by then on, maybe when multiple things merge at once, we kind of are behind, and then multiple tests fail at once. So we kind of try to stay ahead of the curve by already running our tests on the unmerged changes. Another thing that we do is we test for multiple specs. So we have the full toaster spec. So you can see that it's taking rather long, but it's also, it compiles the first time, but it's like 3 minutes something, and then so that's with the 1,000 cores thing. So the ring signatures and everything takes very long to set up and do its calculations. So we also have a tiny setup that is just I think 6 validators, 2 cores or something. that is just, I mean, it's not a test net or anything, it's just for running our tests with a smaller spec that if you test it locally, it executes in a few seconds. And you still have like a pretty good guarantee that you didn't mess anything up. Another thing we do is we timestamp every of our master commits on the collectives chain. So I mean, I'm interested to hear how the other teams are doing this. But what we do is we have on the master branch we have a CI action that every time something was merged in master, it just takes the commit hash, puts the string, the jam brain / Graymatter commit, and then it remarks that with a system remark on the collectives chain. And it's very cheap there, so like actually there was also a bug on collectives, so I think 88 remarks or whatever that it had so far, it only burned like less than 2 milliton. So it's very cheap to remark stuff. Can recommend some cross-checking that. Yeah. Okay, then some side project stuff that's like not specifically Graymatter related, but I think can be interesting. So first is our Polkadot JAM examples repo. Guess I should have put a link here, but it's our GitHub org. It basically it contains languages like examples for different languages. Currently, it's just C and C++. But I want to extend it at least for now, so that it would give you examples how to build a service in different languages. So I mean, building a service in Rust is probably, you can probably get Jan or someone else to do that. But I mean, we have a repo where you can then also write one in C++ or in another language. It comes with some universal executor that kind of takes a command line flag to emulate some host functions. So you can pretend that there is a host function that returns 100, or you can kind of use that to quickly debug your PVMs. Another thing is obviously the JAM chain website. Yeah, I thought it was a cool domain, that's why I got it. Yeah, Ethereum has the beacon chain, so I thought it was maybe the JAM chain. It needs a bit of front-end help, so if you experience this, reach out. The current only really useful thing that it does, it provides the gray paper in 3 colored schemes. It always gets the master version of the gray paper repo and renders that in the CI in 3 versions. So yeah, I think a lot of people actually use that to get a light version because, I don't know, they aren't such a big fan of the original things. Yeah, just want to let you know in case you don't know. Okay. Then the docs JAM chain website. It's yeah, basically colorful nation started this JAM testnet repo, which contains basically all non-Graymatter concepts or things that you would need for a testnet setup. Yeah, just some from the sidebar, currently explains chain stake, accounts, genesis, and CLI arguments. Yeah, and the JAM testnet repo itself, it contains a runner basically that you can plug your binary into, and it then spawns a test network if your client does things expectedly to the CLI arguments, for example. Yeah, I mean we are not there yet, probably not anytime soon, but it's I think cool to have this, and at least one team is I guess pretty close to that. Yeah. Then one more thing, I actually wanted to have this together, but didn't really get along with the API crate. So what I wanted to do is have an endpoint on JAM chain or wherever, where you can basically use it for integration testing with other teams without exposing a binary. So you could, for example, generate a random, an arbitrary header, and it would return you a JSON of a header, and it would be a valid header, so just arbitrary any. And you could then call the same endpoint, but / codec encode, for example, with this JSON, and it would then canonically encode this and return you the codec hex. And you could then run this locally on your node and see I'm getting the same value or I'm getting a different value, similar with decode. yeah, then some more advanced ideas like if you want to do debugging later on and we want to do it easily, then I mean, yeah, for example, in Polkadot, when you want to re-execute a block, there isn't really a straightforward way to do that. The Polkadot node doesn't really care that you want to re-execute a block, it just does its thing. But if we would have some kind of API endpoint or something that you can use between clients, then we can later on build CLIs to help us debug specific things. For example, SDF transition could be one of that, where you just put in pre-state, a block, and maybe some stuff from DA or whatever, and then it transitions that into the post state and returns you the post state. Just again to like allow different teams to test with each other, and sure you can then do it with PDM or like anything that you could want to debug later on. You could expose it through an API so that other teams can reproduce on their client and check if they get the same result. Yeah, I hope I can at least get the first thing going soon. But yeah, that was it. Yeah, it's the last slide. Sorry. Okay.